Hi, teachers. This is lesson 1.3 of week 4 of the middle school ENL Standalone curriculum. So continuing to work on Laura's key today, students will do a very similar opening do now routine to the other lessons this week. Students will then move on to a listen, read, and discuss activity. So this is a class discussion activity. They'll hear this passage read, they'll read this passage to themselves, and then they will prepare for class discussion. On this presentation, which you can find in the Video Adapted Resources folder, there is a place for students to write in preparation for their discussion to make the discussion more seamless. After that, they will continue reading the text, so another chunk of the text. They'll respond to the guiding questions at the end, and then address the discussion questions as a class. After reading, they'll go to a story map. So they will fill in those events there and answer the questions. So the easiest way for students to complete this is probably to assign this presentation as an assignment on Google Classroom. But if there are different graphic organizers that you would like to use or would like to render this in a different way for students to complete, that's also definitely an option. So if you were using something like Lucid Charts, that's also another way that students could get this done. Lastly, the closing and connecting, extend the learning definitely needs to be done. But any of the other ones here that you feel would benefit your students, you can also assign. So that's the rundown of today's lesson. Let's go ahead and start this lesson together. Hi, students. So this is week 1, Learning from Struggle, and this is our 3rd day together. So do success and winning always look the same is our essential question that we've been looking at this week. We're going to continue reading Laura's Key, which is a literary text, and let's take a look at those objectives. So can someone read those out loud, please? Awesome. So we're summarizing key ideas and details in the text, and we are using context clues, collaboration, and or resources to analyze words and phrases. So starting off with the do now, we have this picture right over here. Go ahead, wherever your teacher is having you collect your notes for today, tell us what you see, what you think, and what you wonder about this image. Pause the video now. All right, so what do we see? I see clouds here. I think this is a roller coaster, and I wonder if people are riding it right now, if there's anyone on it. I hope you got the opportunity to maybe discuss this with your class, because I'm sure that everyone had some different things that they saw, thought, and wondered or noticed. Let's get into the lesson. All right, so we have a listen, read, discuss today. So you'll listen to me, you'll read on your own, and then you'll have the opportunity to discuss with your class. In the last 2 lessons, we read about Laura and her desire to improve her soccer skills. With help from her mother, Laura set up a place to play and found some friends to practice her soccer skills. Our story continues today with those practices. So go ahead and read the second column to yourself, and then you'll discuss using these questions. To prepare for your discussion, once you finish reading, you can use this next slide to prepare for your discussion. So you can write down what you think like a roller coaster means in this context, and how Laura is going to react to the challenges that she's facing. So you can type out those answers so you're ready to discuss with your class. So I'm going to leave you for a little bit so you can read to yourself, prepare for the discussion, and get ready to discuss with your class. Once you're finished with your class discussion, you can come back to the video, but for now, go ahead and pause here. All right, I'm sure you guys had some great discussions for those questions. Setting the purpose today In this section of Laura's Key, we are going to meet an important character. So let's read to see how that character affects Laura's development and progress. Looks like we're going to meet a new character today. All right, first things first, you're going to listen to a recording of the text, and then you are going to read and respond to the guiding questions that are at the bottom of the text. And finally, you will work on the discussion questions by discussing with your class. So the text is linked here. If you are having trouble finding the text for today, make sure to ask your teacher if it's on Google Classroom or somewhere else. But your task now is to listen to and read the text, to respond to the guiding questions, and to engage in the discussion questions with your class. So pause the video here, and I'll meet you back here for the next activity. All right, so it looks like we have met Tony. So we heard the name, but I think we have a better idea of who Tony is now. Now, we're going to map what's going on in the story, because I feel like we have seen this story unfold for a few days now, and we just got to keep it all on track. Okay, so what we've read so far in Laura's Key. So what you're going to do is you're going to answer the questions. So there's 2 questions up here. How is Laura helped by her friends in the beginning of today's section? How does Tony affect Laura in today's section of the story? Then you're going to fill in those 3 events, those 3 big events that happen. So event 1, event 2, and event 3. And then finally, you're going to make a prediction of how Laura is going to feel at the end of the story. So wherever you see questions, you are going to fill in. So if you're working on the PowerPoint, you can just hit enter and start typing your answer. If your teacher would like you to collect your answers to this somewhere else, please check in with them. And then you can come back together to discuss your answers with your class. So please pause the video here to fill out this story map. All right, you guys have done so much hard work today. So now we're going to wrap up with a little writing activity. So your teacher might assign any of these blue, yellow, or gray boxes to you, but let's look at this green box for right now. So we're going to practice writing a claim about mentoring or mentoring. You may remember writing a claim in the last lesson, but you're going to complete this sentence here. I believe that mentoring is not. So you're going to write a claim about mentoring. So that's how we're going to wrap up for today, and we'll see you for the next lesson.